So welcome industry leaders and innovators. I'm Andrew. I'm Director of Partnerships at Mercku, and I'm delighted to have you all join us for this insightful webinar. This webinar is a part of Mercku Pilot Palooza campaign. And as we navigate this dynamic landscape of telco industry in 2024, as you can see, there are several trends are reshaping our sector. First of all, it's increasing demand for value-added services and opportunity for ISPs to differentiate offering and boost annual revenue per customers. And another thing is remarkable growth of the online gaming market, projected to reach unprecedented levels this year. And on the other hand, there is a critical need for enhanced network performance and optimization, and especially for latency-sensitive applications. So, and considering this landscape, we see that there is opportunity for ISPs to bring new value-added services and offer to their customers. And this opportunity is important, and ISPs and telcos, they have to adapt. And that's why I'm excited to bring you today's session, addressing the challenge at the intersection of these trends, online gaming performance optimization. So we partnered with WTFast, the company at forefront of revolutionizing gaming connectivity. And today we have the privilege of hearing from two key figures at WTFast, Rob Bartlett, and his founder and CEO, and Darcy Lorincz, his Chief Revenue Officer. They'll be sharing valuable insights on how WTFast technology aligns with these industry trends and can help you maintain competitive advantage. And as the result of participating, you will gain insights on key strategies, how to attract and retain high-value gaming customers, which is important. Also matters to diversify revenue streams through innovative value-added services and more. So let's delve into the world of optimized gaming connectivity and explore the role of WTFast in the context of trends in 2024. Rob, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate it. So right now we're on the last slide of the deck. I'll go ahead and I'll skip forward to the first slide, and we'll start our presentation. I'll be making turns with Darcy on the slides. So Darcy, if I miss you, make sure to speak up, and I'll let you jump in. But we should have a good cadence back and forth, and hopefully make this presentation interesting for broadband operators who are watching this presentation. So I'll go through to slide one. There we go. So our mission with What the Fast is to connect anyone to anywhere faster. The problem with online games is that they require real-time synchronization. So you have some server somewhere in the world or somewhere in the country, and you have people from all different regions trying to play on this centralized game server. The challenge is during peak times, often there's congestion for players who are trying to play on the centralized game server. And, it's bad enough if you have a single time zone with congestion issues, but then if you have multiple time zones or even people around the world all experiencing congestion at different times of the day, it creates a bad experience for players because there's essentially always someone having congestion issues while they're playing that game. And this is the type of issues that we help to solve with our technology. Think of it like wayfinding for the internet, right? So if you drive from Los Angeles to New York in a car, there's lots of different ways to get there. There's congestion, traffic jams, construction, et cetera, and we help you to get you around those issues that you experience on the internet. So that's what we do with our technology, and I'll give the next slide over to Darcy.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, as Rob said, our mission is to solve the issues that CSPs have with gamers, and that's a very large community, which we'll talk about in a minute. The value props for our customers and CSPs that we are talking to is to, number one, attract gamers. They're high bandwidth users, so naturally you're going to use more network and be higher on average revenue. Generating that additional revenue is obviously a big opportunity for our partners and CSPs. And with that additional revenue comes pretty significant margin on top of the pipes that they provide that give the access in the first place, as well as the CPE that our partner provides. Reducing the support cost is a big deal. I ran a tournament platform for a few years, and number one issue was gamers complaining about their connectivity. And obviously those calls came to us and more importantly came to the CSPs. So we aim to reduce or remove that issue from them by providing much better connectivity and lower latency in gaming. And of course that all leads to reducing churn. So I think that our value props across these four areas are very attractive for our CSP customers. I want to go to the next one, Rob. The big news is, and it shouldn't be a surprise, is there's almost over 3.3 billion gamers. Those are your customers today. Whether they're playing games or doing other things, it's a massive market. More importantly, the entire gaming market itself as an entertainment medium and as a collaboration medium where people are sharing and playing games is growing quickly. This year, it's projected to exceed 200 billion. Last year, it was already nearing that. So if you put those two figures together, it's a big opportunity for CSPs to address this market. The size of the number of people that are playing games and watching games is significant. And if the game experience is good and the latency is low, it's 1 + 1 = 3 for us, our partners, and the operators.
Awesome. Thanks, Darcy. So we've been doing this for a while. So we launched our service initially in 2009 with a PC game launcher software. So selling directly to gamers, the toughest audience in the world. They could try out our service for free. And if they see nice benefit to using our technology, that's when they would pay us a recurring subscription fee. We basically support all the different games out there, over 300 different nodes around the world. And we currently have 13 patents granted around our technology. We're the first to really innovate in this space, and we have the patents to show for it. So our technology is very similar to VPN in many ways. Most people are familiar with a VPN. We like to think of it as the sledgehammer. So it's typically used for geo unlocks, encryption, and it's not really optimized. So all of your data is being sent to some server somewhere in the world, and it's not designed to optimize that data. It's designed for encryption and geo unlocks, and as a result, it's adding an extra dog leg to the connection. So an extra additional chirp, essentially. And that's the reason why VPNs have a bad reputation for making things worse, because usually that's what they do. Our technology is different. It's more like a scalpel. So we're very customized proxy technology. we focus only on the real-time gaming data, which is typically a much smaller data stream. So 100 kilobit stream, whenever someone types something into the game, they shoot a gun or any in-game action is the data stream that we focus on. So much smaller data stream. And we dynamically and automatically adjust the connection based on where someone's coming from and where they're connecting to. They can start playing a different game or playing in a different region. And we can also simultaneously handle multiple connections, each with an optimized connection. Very, very different from a traditional VPN. I mentioned already how we do best path optimization across the internet, helping to get around congestion issues. But later this year, we also plan to deliver quality of service services. So basically using our expertise with online data to provide QoS that actually works. There's a lot of QoS services that don't work out as well. We think we can do a better job because of our expertise. And then also use that same intelligence for things like packet tagging, which is related to QoS, of course, but then also VLAN slicing is another area we would like to apply our technology. So we're very excited about that moving forward. And our focus is on gaming today, but once we're on that router, we can certainly apply our technology to any real-time communication, such as work from home as a good example. So here's a quick look at our global map. You can see how we have nodes pretty much all around the world. It's a global latency-sensitive proxy overlay network driven by real-time measurements and AI. Pops all around the world. Typically, we can improve ping by 25 to 50% on average, and stability, which is packet loss, ping spikes, jitter, by 25 to 100% on average. Virtually completely eliminating the lag that a user would see online. So this is focused on the middle mile, but then when we're later on working on the QoS and VLAN slicing, we also anticipate that we can help with the last mile, helping to solve cascading issues that originate from the LAN or the access layer. So that's something that we plan to tackle later this year with our expertise. So Darcy, I'll let you take this one on.
Absolutely. Rob showed that last slide, which gives you a good snapshot of our global network. Obviously, that moves around depending on demand and games that are popular, but generally we're supporting 320 plus POPs around the world on our network. If you want to get closer to the customer, Rob mentioned last mile or first mile, or you need to support more traffic and more sessions, we certainly can take our GPN and move it closer to the endpoint, generally inside of a CSP's network. So we're happy to, it's very lightweight footprint, and we can put it pretty much in any data center or POP on a CSP's network, which gives them the capacity to serve more customers. And we like that model, and obviously it helps us expand our network, and it helps to interconnect us with the networks of our partners and CSPs.
Yeah, a key thing to note, sorry, Darcy, I'm just going to interrupt for 2 seconds. A key thing to note is that we just need a Linux box. We don't have to co-locate any equipment. So a nice Linux box, very easy to find. And it also helps with regards to identifying the important traffic on the access layer, right? So if you know that data going to this local server is important and latency sensitive, then you can make sure that it's treated with a high priority. So that's all I wanted to cut in and say, Darcy.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Rob. And as far as the products that we can offer on top of that, Rob showed earlier, historically we've been direct-to-consumer company, but we've pivoted in a couple of years ago to what we're talking about today, which is offering easier products for CSPs to deploy. So today we have a license model. Obviously, that's straightforward. We give keys to our customers and partners, and they deploy those keys based on demand. And that can be bundled with a broadband offering, an offering that has us with Mercku and routers, or any kind of offering. But it's very easy to deploy, and it's very highly scalable for an operator to take that on. We'll be doing a lot more, like we're doing with Mercku, and embedding ourselves in the access layer and the CPE. And as Rob said, that'll also open us up to other real-time traffic that is becoming more and more relevant inside of the home. AI is definitely something that we're looking at. It's causing a lot more issues for operators because it's causing a lot more content to be out there on these networks. And with the prioritization and packet priorities that we can do, I think we're looking at new products in the future that'll help prioritize any kind of traffic and also match it up with some of the things that are happening like 5G to the home and other things. So we're happy to continue to develop those products for our CSP partners, and through partners like Mercku, we'll bring those to market either bundled or unbundled as a license or as a server.
Awesome. So I'll go to the next slide here. You can take this one, Darcy.
Sure. These are obviously Boost PC. This was recently released. Most of the games that we see, especially competitive gaming, originate on a PC or they originate on a console, and we can cover that with the CPE. So that with Mercku and others is a big opportunity for us to catch the traffic for those high latency sensitive applications on CP and on PCs. And then I guess on mobile, everybody knows mobile is growing in terms of gaming and competitive gaming. So we're going to be putting ourselves on iOS and Android devices as well, which is coming soon, early 2025.
Awesome. Thanks, Darcy. And this is a quick look at historical performance results, in this case, specifically in the UK. So you can see that this is sorting the sessions by game name. Column 3 is showing the average direct ping for players in the UK playing that game. Column 4 shows the median ping improvement percentage. So the median ping, it means if you look at all users, the people kind of smack dab in the middle at the 50th percentile, they're usually seeing around a 30% improvement to ping. If you get to the 75th percentile, which is the worst 25% of users, it goes up to about 35%. And then at the 90th percentile, which is the 10th percentile, or the worst 10% of people, it goes to around 40%. And then we have the same data looking at it from a lost packets perspective. You can see at the median, there's not as much improvement for lost packets, and that's probably because the people at the 50th percentile probably don't have that much packet loss, so there's not as much room for improvement. Whereas if you look at the 75th percentile and the 90th percentile, which is the worst, the 25% of the worst users, they're basically getting all of their packet loss eliminated with our technology. And this is just with the middle mile optimization. Once we tackle the access layer problems, and often there's cascading issues originating from the LAN and the last mile. If we can help to solve those issues with our technology, then these numbers will improve even more, because if there's cascading issues originating from the last mile, it's going to impact everything. So it's going to be hard to improve something that impacts us and also the game connection. So once we're able to solve those last mile problems, these stats will improve even more. And this is looking at that same data set, but with users and the games they're playing and what the target region is. So you can see those same games that I was looking at before, but you can see how most of the people in the UK are using us to play games in the US, Germany, Netherlands, UK, and you can see how the largest proportion of the game traffic is going to countries that are outside of the UK, right? So they're using us to play games that are hosted in other countries. And this is logical because, if they're playing on a game server that's already in the UK, probably the latency isn't going to be that bad. And you can see how, average direct ping in the UK is about 44 milliseconds. But still, there's still lots of room for improvement. But yeah, typically gamers are using us to play game servers in other regions. The further the data travels, the more benefit we can provide. And that's typically what we see. Although, to highlight again, once we solve the access layer issues, then we expect to see more local games being played using our services as well, because those access layer issues or the last mile issues impact everything, including the local games. So we're looking forward to tackling that problem later this year. Darcy, I'll let you talk about the commercial model.
Absolutely. I mentioned earlier our key bundle or selling them directly. So that's straightforward. We give a bundle of keys to our operator partner, and then they can sell those in their own bundle or directly as a product. We use Netflix pricing. You saw the numbers earlier, 3.5 billion gamers. They consider gaming their prime source of entertainment, just like a lot of other people consider movies and television on Netflix. So we kind of follow the same model in terms of pricing, and on a global basis, that's kind of a bellwether for us. We give discount, obviously, based on volumes. We also, between those two, we help to identify what the gaming community is doing, what they're doing most, what games they're playing, and help the operators understand that market as well when we start getting into more detailed relationships. And obviously, we build that on a net 30 monthly basis. So it's very attractive. It's an easy product to bundle and add. There's not very much friction in an operator, and there's a lot of demand for it. So we feel it's a pretty significant opportunity for CSPs to embrace this in whichever model they like.
Yeah, I think the key point regarding the key model is that it makes working with us much easier. We've tried doing custom integration work before in the past, and it ends up just being a lot of extra work that doesn't really provide much benefit. Whereas the keys is simple, right? You can just include the key on the router device, and we're good to go. And it can be like a one-time key or a recurring key. Our system accounts for all of that. So that's the reason why we decided to use this key model.
Yeah, and then the next slide kind of, I guess we'll say it gets a little to the more complex, but obviously when it's bundled, it's not so much, and operators are used to these bundles. So putting together whatever connectivity, in the case of Singtel, fiber to the home, clearly Singapore is a very well-connected community. As Rob said earlier, though, a lot of the games and servers that they play on are not in that region. So having a device in the home that hooks that traffic up for the gaming and other real-time communications is part of the bundle. And then we layer ourselves and our network on top of that, and basically extend that network for Singtel and operators like them to extend their reach on a global basis. So we make it easy for them. We saw the key model before. This is more of the bundled model. Again, operators are very used to this. Voice and data came before this, and even before that was the telephone, and I'm old enough to remember those days, but those bundles are important. You can't talk on the telephone without a telephone. You can't connect to a network without CPE like Mercku offers and others. And, that bundle and our technology on top of it layered in, make it easy for gamers to participate in their communities and their main source of entertainment.
Yeah, this one's for you, Darcy.
Oh, it's still for me? Okay. Yeah. Obviously, we've got a significant team behind us, but when you're talking to our business, it's usually Rob or I first. We're bringing the whole company kind of behind us. Gitika is our main person that will pick up the hard work when it comes down to all the things operationally and billing and testing that we go through on a lot of these engagements. And then the team, obviously, we have access to behind us for things engineering and customer service related. So we're obviously growing a growing business, and as the CSPs and more of our customers on the CPE side come on board, we'll continue to develop the capacity needed to service you and your customers, make sure you understand the market and we deliver the products that you offer.
Thanks, Darcy. And here's just a quick look at our larger team. Nice, strong, diverse team. Very skilled. We're based out of Kelowna, BC in Canada. If you're not Canadian, you don't know what Kelowna is, but I recommend Googling it. So Kelowna. It's kind of northeast, 3 hours from Vancouver, BC. And it's a cross between Lake Tahoe and Napa Valley. So it's a great place to have a nice work-life balance and to build tech. So that's the reason why we decided to locate here. And then just a recap of our value prop. So we can help CSPs to attract high-value gamers, sell more bandwidth to them, generate more revenue through rev share of WTFast. reduce customer support costs, because if gamers complain about lag, they're probably going to blame their broadband provider. So we can help to reduce those issues. And then also helping to reduce churn, right? So if your customers are happy, they're going to stick around. So I think we can provide a lot of value, and we're looking forward to doing that.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Darcy. Yeah, and before we wrap up, I have a couple of questions for you I received before the webinar. First one is for ISPs who doesn't know how to identify gamers within their network, right? If they don't have like marketing tools or their data, how many gamers in percentage they can expect to have within their network? So how many licenses they can sell per, let's say, 1,000 or 10,000 subscribers? What's the average number of this?
We showed some Newzoo figures, and I've got some other here. So that was a good question. About 60% of consumers are playing games competitively, which is a large amount. Obviously, that 3.5 billion is that consumer. So you can likely expect that on in average, but some are above and few are below. But generally, that's the number you should expect of your customers who are already participating and are candidates for this. As far as us identifying them, we have tools to find the top influencers and top games that are in your markets, and help you to engage with them. There's lots of ways to do that. We're going to be starting to do some campaigns with contests. And I mentioned earlier that I was a part of a tournament platform. So, competitive gaming is where this is the most important tool to have to participate. And more competitive gaming is good. I mean, if you look at places like the Middle East right now they're having the world's biggest tournament, $60 million tournament, and people are playing from all over the world. So that's happening all the time in your backyard. And so CSPs should be aware of what demands are being driven, who's playing what competitive games, what games are being released. That's very important to know. When those releases come out, you probably just today see spikes in your network, but we see it as an opportunity to be aware of what that game is and be part of that community, not just serving the bandwidth, but giving them the solution that lets them play and participate.
Yeah, if you want to zoom in on any particular region, Newzoo is great. They got a lot of awesome data. So they have a lot of free reports, but then they also have some paid reports as well if you want to get additional detail. But yeah, they're a very good source for looking up that kind of market intelligence.
Good. And if ISPs, if they work with you, will you provide them with your market intelligence to help them?
Absolutely. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Yeah, we have. So that's a lot of times what we'll do is, like, say if we are looking at a broadband provider in the UK as an example, then we would show them these stats, for example, to show them how much we're improving connectivity for users in that particular region. Once we're on the router device, we should be able to get even better stats, because we'll be able to see the stats for people using WTFast or not using WTFast, if that's a requirement for the broadband provider. So we could actually provide some better market intelligence once we're on that router device.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And Darcy, you said that in average, let's say 60% of subscribers, they're gamers. Maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. But from your experience, to how many of them broadband providers can upsell WTFast? Because I think not everyone will sign up, right?
It depends. I would say you're going to be hitting all of your homes, or your subscribers with an offer. And generally, at least the ones we're seeing now, the initial response is usually pretty high. Mm-hmm. And you got to keep driving that demand. So we mentioned you got to know the games they're playing. You should know the communities that they're. Gamers are one thing they're very sensitive to you being genuine to their needs. And if you understand the games they're playing and what they're doing, you're going to get a higher uptick of them adopting the service than if you're just throwing the thing in a bundle and throwing it over the fence and not really understanding why they're doing what they're doing with the product. So we help them understand that and help them to drive a higher penetration into their community of gamers on their networks. Mm-hmm.
So when you work with ISPs, you're not just they're not just your resellers, right? You help them to sell. It's more like partnership, right?
Yeah, we have tools, like I said, to really identify who those end users are, who the influencers and creators are within those communities, inside of those geographies, of those footprints of those operators. We have these stats, and we have a network that's been running for a decade of doing this stuff, so we can actually give you some pretty good sense of, Rob showed those matrices. That's real-time data. It's not just snapshot. We can tell you at pretty much any point in time what's going on in your backyard, and help you understand what you should do to, address the needs of those people that are connecting to these games.
Okay.
I think most broadband operators probably can tell already, how much game traffic they have on their network. It might not be as granular and detailed as what we have, but they should be able to know, if there's gaming traffic at their house, it shouldn't be too hard to figure out that out. If that's not true, then I guess maybe they need our help to figure that out. But I would hope that most operators probably have some general idea at least.
Mm-hmm. And when you said that 2 years ago you shifted from working like with direct customers, from B2C to working with telcos, right?
Yeah.
So what was the main reason for you to shift, and how's your impression after this change?
So we actually did. So our PC software, we actually started working with broadband operators with our PC software as a white labeled solution. But we think that broadband operators are not game companies. They're not software companies. And so expecting them to become a game company or software company in order to promote the services is probably too big of an ask. Whereas they're very good at installing routers to deliver internet. So we decided, okay, well, this is what they're all asking for. They all want our technology to be on the router, so we can just be there. And so they don't no longer have to do, they don't no longer have to become a software company. They just install the router and turn it on. Like that's the whole point of this delivery method. It just to simplify things and keep things, how broadband companies are used to, and that way I think we're going to have a lot more success with this model.
Okay, I see. Yeah, and we can even advertise this in a different way, because if you already have Mercku or other devices deployed and they support WTFast without desktop app, you cannot run promo for 1 month, try WTFast for free. Technically you can, but you have to explain to people how to install the software. It's a lot of efforts from their side. But with gaming solution, with router solution, you can just, as in, do you want to activate this? We see you're playing a lot, and we can improve your gaming experience. You can get free trial for a month, and then they can sign up, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point with the router delivery, is to make it as low touch as possible. And even before, when we tried doing the PC software method, gamers would get confused because when they order something from a broadband provider, they expect to do, why don't I just get more bandwidth? Or why doesn't it just happen automatically, right?
Yeah.
So our goal is to make offering WTFast services as automatic as possible, because that's what the consumer expects as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but also when people use WTFast on the router, they automatically can optimize gaming experience on every device at their home, right? It's Xbox, PlayStation, their smartphone, whatever. But with PC key, for sure, you can only play on your PC. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. The router supports all devices, all games, and we continue to ramp up the support. So we already support quite a lot, but we continue adding more games, and there's also a way to request games and whatnot as well. So yeah, that's definitely something that we're excited about.
Okay, and I also have another question on your future service for home experience optimization. I think it's about work from home optimization. So would this be a part of gaming product? So it would be one license key, and people, they can experience both improvements on work from home experience and gaming, or is it going to be two different products? How do you want to position this?
Yeah, I think that opens up the value prop, right? So our goal would be to optimize the traffic for everyone, right? So you can decide how you want your traffic to run on the network. So, our expectation is that it's all part of the same license, and our goal is to get it onto every single router that serves any network anywhere in the world. So we can apply our technology to gaming, work from home, any latency sensitive application. And once we're there on the router, then we can do interesting things like identifying network problems and solve cascading issues as well. So I think there's a lot of reason for us to be on as many devices as possible, because we'll be able to help quite a bit with that last mile.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I think we answered all the questions we received before the webinar and now. So I think it was a very good presentation, and I was happy to talk to you guys and learn more about future plans of WTFast. And I'm lucky because I have Mercku router with WTFast, so whenever I'm playing, I can enjoy improved quality of experience. But the sad part, I'm playing only offline games. So but for our attendees, I think they want to try WTFast. That's probably they don't know yet how. And as I mentioned at the beginning, and I want to remind everyone that we have exciting opportunity that you can sign up for Mercku Pilot Palooza. It's a campaign of Mercku and WTFast together. You can get a sample of the roller with WTFast pre-installed, so it's super simple to test, and you will also get full support from Mercku tech team, and WTFast tech team will help you to understand how to deploy WTFast. You can try it yourself, and then you can for sure decide if you want to deploy it or not. But from what I see and based on numbers, because personally, I'm not a gamer, right? So I can only trust numbers and your data. And from what I saw today, I feel it's a good opportunity. And if I had my own ISP, I would for sure decide to deploy Mercku with WTFast, or maybe something else with WTFast. Who knows? So thanks again for joining this webinar. Thank you, Rob, and thank you, Darcy, for telling us more about WTFast and your future plans. And again, sign up for Mercku Pilot Palooza, mercku.com/MPP2024 to reserve your sample kit, because we have a limited number of kits for sure. And looking forward to potentially partner with all of you and running pilot deployments together for your customer base. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it.